welcome back to another edition of the Pitch Putt and Puff podcast. My name is Roger, aka RGB. Appreciate everybody tuning in here tonight. Before we get cooking, though, we're going to give a shout out to a couple sponsors. First, let's shout out my man Marty over at Trouble Off the Tee. Make sure you guys go over there, check out the site. He's got a 50% off-site wide sale going on right now, so go check, grab some polos. He's got some winter gear with the hoodies, the quarter zips, a couple jackets on there, and a whole line of hats. Go check them out. TroubleOffTheTee.com while you're there. Make sure you take a look at the book, available on Audible, and Spotify, narrated by Jake Adams, and the author is Marty Midian. So make sure you guys go and support Marty. He's a big supporter of the Pitch Putt and Puff. Also, if you're local here in the 518, go check out 420 Bliss, located at 740 Hoosick Road in Troy. Right up in the Walmart Plaza. Stop in there, check them out. Everything you're looking for: flour, pre-roll, edible, tinctures, vapes, you name it, they got it. If you're looking for some edibles or vapes, make sure you check out Jaunty. They got the blueberry lemonade, the mango sunrise. They have a bunch of different new options coming out with the cartridges, variety of flavors, as well as the disposable all-in-one packages. So go and check them out. Last but not least, we got 52 Sundays. They're a big supporter of the Legends Golf Club, the official sponsor. Go check them out, 52sundays.co, and use promo code LGC15 to get yourself 15% off site-wide. They got a bunch of new stuff coming out as well. But go make sure you guys go and check them out, 52sundays.co. Also here, before we get rolling, going to have a preview of the upcoming weekend. It's going to be the last run here for the Pitch Putt Puff this year at Frear. They're going to be aerating the green soon, so not going to be able to really give you an accurate score with the aeration on the putting and stuff like that. So the final next weekend, we'll probably end up just doing like a 4-man scramble, 2-putt max, something like that. Just to have a good time and kick it to wrap up the year at Frear, because we're probably looking at maybe 2-3 weeks left of the course even being open. But we're going to take a quick break here, and hopefully some of the guys jump on. If not, I'll come back and we will give you a preview, set the groups. We got 3 groups going out again this week, and this is the final spot of the ranking, so we'll see what happens. And we're back here on the Pitch Putt and Puff. Once again, my name is RGB. Gonna give a few minutes till the boys hop on, if they do. But I'm just gonna break it down here for you real quick, just a quick little episode. This is, like I said, it's the last week, Frear Park, where the course will be in 100% conditions. Now, this year has been awesome up at the park. These guys have taken great care of it. Right now, I mean, there's barely any leaves on the greens at the peak season of the fall with literally, I mean, my yard is covered. Most everybody's yard up here in upstate New York is covered in leaves, but not at the golf course. They got it looking great right now. Greens have been as fast as they've ever been at this point. They rolled them, they cut them, they rolled them, and they cut them again numerous times. So they're flying. There's not a lot of room for error, but it's been extremely challenging, and it's really been a great year up there. Can't say enough about the course and the staff and everything they've done up there at Frear Park the past few years. Greg's done an amazing job. We'll see if I can get Greg on here in the off season and really go maybe do a hole for hole review with him. I know he's been on the Upstate Golf Guys a few times, but maybe we'll get him on here on the Pitch Putt and Puff. I'd like to get Josh on here as well, but he's a tough guy to convince. But yeah, the rankings. What I'm going to do with the rankings is I'm going to get. Basically, it's going to be like a coach's poll. Have all the guys, all 13 guys, basically give me their 1 through 13. Who do you think? Where does everybody rank? And I'll take that and I'll find the average and see where everybody just about is in the coach's poll. And then I also have all the scorecards throughout the year, so I can take those and determine where guys actually do rank when it comes to score and handicap and everything else. So that's what's going to be the interesting part, is to find out with, a lot of guys don't have as many rounds. That's going to be a factor. So that's where the coaches poll kind of thing will balance it out. Because, like Anthony and Mikey, we know whereabouts where they stand, middle of the pack guys. But when it comes to the scores, let's see really where they stand. They haven't had a lot of rounds. Steve's going to be an interesting guy. He may have played 6 rounds with the Pitch Putt and Puff this year, and that might be a generous number. So that's going to be interesting where he ends up, where the rest of the guys vote him in at. I know some guys didn't like the voting. They thought it was, I don't know. I don't know if they thought I was trying to tier him or, rank the guys like that. But it's kind of what we're doing. It's really just something to talk about in the off season. And not for nothing, depending on where people end up. I know Kirk, for example, Mr. Top 5 is what he's striving for right now. And that's awesome, because he didn't like it when we first came out with the rankings and he was in the lower tier of the guys. I mean, also he just started playing golf and such, so he obviously didn't expect to be number one. At the same time, with guys like Parisi, Bob, Jr. in the top spots, but he has taken it personal in a way to where he's really trying to get better. And you see it week in and week out. He's doing something better every week. Like he shot a 90 yesterday, and my man was ready to jump in the lake because he was on pace. He had a great front nine, shot a 44 on the front, was really firing on all cylinders, getting off the tee, chipping real well. Couple of struggles with the putting, but as expected up there in Frear at this time of year. Also, he was just really locked in, but struggled a little bit on the back. Had maybe two bad holes on the back, cost him a few strokes. Ended up with a 90, so 46 for him on the back. So little things though with Kirk. It's the little things you can fix. And like I said before, I think the off season with him continuing to get in the simulator and just continuing to swing the club will make a big difference for him down the stretch. So guys like that, he took it personal to where like, all right, I'm going to get better. I'm not going to be in the bottom tier. I want to be in the middle of the pack or top five in his case, which is awesome. I'm similar. I take it to the point where I got to try to get in that top three. Like I want to be in that top three. Me and Bob were neck and neck last year, and for the most part, for past few years, and basically that's where I want to continue to pace myself with him. He went on a major, like last year, for example, he had a lot of shit going on off the course. This year he still does, but he found a way to like channel everything and just get away from all that and lock into golf, and it's made a big difference. And I bust his balls all the time, but ever since Mikey blessed him with the Uncle Paulie Lombardi putter, Bub's golf game has changed drastically. I'd love to go back and check the date of that, and then go back and look at Bub's scores on the app and see where he how much of a difference it really made, especially when it comes down to putts. Because I know Bub counts every stroke, every direction, how many putts. If he's in a bunker, OB, he locks in everything on that Green app. So, going to be curious to see there what happens in the top three. I don't really think it changes who the top three are, but I do think there's a possibility with Parisi missing those few weeks down the stretch. And Bob had a long stretch of good scores, so it could be a really, really tight race between those two when it comes to the scores. I think the majority of the guys might go with the Parisi vote just because he was so consistent for so long. But Bob got off to a slow start, but I mean, he really turned it on and locked in this year. Uh, Jay always gets off to a slow start coming off the hockey season, but he was out there. He's one of the top guys no matter what. He can come out and have a bad day. Last week he was pissed he shot an 82, but he was ended up being one of the low scores for. I think he was the low score for the day. So Jay's our guy. Once he gets out there and gets consistent, he locks in for a few weeks. And then as the summer goes, depending on what he's got going on off the course as well, um, it's kind of mentally determines where he's going to go with his golf game. But Jay's the type of guy who can literally show up and shoot a 76 on you, and you're like, holy shit, and then show up the next day and shoot a 91. You're like, what happened? And it's just one of those things. But I expect him, obviously, to be in the top three. Now, normally, if it was a regular season like it's been the past three, Steve would be in the four spot. Steve would definitely be locked up in the four spot. But with the inconsistency of him really not playing this year as much. I'd say Mikey probably has just as many, if not more, rounds than Steve. Charlie's got quite a few rounds in there now, so he's probably filling it again this week. We're going to be missing, actually, this week's crazy for the last week. Fairway Mike, he'll be doing some things this weekend, but he unfortunately will not be playing with the pitch putt and putt. Going to be different out there. He's only missed 1 week this year, and it's him and Hank missed the same week, and it's really weird when you don't have those two out there. Solid cornerstone pieces of the pitch putt puff. So going to be some different faces out there for the last week, but we pretty much have the majority of the crew. We got myself, Charlie, Hank, Brad, Anthony from Upstate. Then we got Ant Man, the Cart Man, my Upstate golf guys, Mikey, my co-host Jay, co-host Bob, and then we got Parisi and Kirk to wrap it up for the 12 guys. 3 tee times last week out there. I'm really excited about it. I'm curious to where these guys. It's going to be unanimous. They're going to hand me a piece of paper with the rankings of what they think. I'm going to take it. I don't want their names on it. I don't want nothing. I don't know these guys' handwriting. So I'm not going to really know who put what. I know where I think most of the guys are going to fall. Me personally, I play with a lot of these guys all the time. I play with Brad a lot. I play with Mikey a lot. I'm out there with Kirk midweek. Obviously, Fairway every single day. Hank 3-4 days a week, and then Bob and Jr. play with a bunch. So I got a good idea of what all these guys are capable of. It's just a matter of where you really want to put them. At Frear Park is the key thing here. But it's going to come down to consistency of rounds played. That's going to make a big difference. And I think just overall performance of down the stretch here. And I really think Bub has a possibility of jumping in that number one spot. So we'll have to see what everybody else thinks as well. But just to set the groups for this weekend, we're going to go myself. Brad, Mikey, and Parisi. And then we're going to go Charlie, Anthony, Farina, JR, and Kirk. And then we got Hank, Ant-Man, Kev, and Bob to wrap up the final week here of the Pitch Putt and Puff for the rankings wise for the fall. So what we'll do after this is once he aerates the greens, coming up here on Halloween, he's going to aerate a couple. Pretty much going to be unputtable for the most part. So we'll do a 2 or 4-man scrambles next week and just do a 2-putt max. Just to do something fun, have a good time, go out there, maybe try some samples from some of our sponsors here and do some reviews of that such and get a little bit more just a content day, weather pending. It's supposed to be in the 70s next week as well. So end of October in the 70s, very uncommon here in upstate New York, but we'll take what we can get. Big weekend for me. I don't hope everybody listened to the last episode with former Miami Hurricane, former Texas Longhorn, and former drafted by the San Francisco 49ers, Adrian Colbert from On the Links. I'm a huge Miami Hurricane fan. We got the Miami-Florida State rivalry this week, so excited about that. It was really cool having him on. Hoping to get him here in upstate New York for the Pitch Putt and Puff tournament next year would be really cool. That's my plan, is like having content creators like himself, a couple other guys I've been speaking to about it from other states come out and really maybe make this thing a little bit bigger than I even thought it could be. So we'll see what happens. But was hoping to get one of the upstate golf guys to jump on here and hear about their trip down to Hilton Head. I know they had a great time. The results weren't what they expected. The Bermuda grass is all I've been hearing about. So I'll get Mikey or Anth on here on the recap show. We'll talk a little bit about that on Monday. But that's pretty much it here for the Pitch Putt and Puff tonight on this solo episode. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you guys check out the YouTube page. I'm really trying to grow that as well as the Instagram. So always appreciate everybody following. Appreciate everybody checking in here with the Pitch Putt and Puff. Make sure you guys go support our sponsors, 420 Bliss, 420-bliss.com, just a little higher in the App Store. Go in there, grab some jaunty products, these blueberry lemonade, the dreamberry gummies if you're looking for something for nighttime. Those things that put you in timeout. Those things are great. So go and check them out at 420 Bliss. Trouble Off the Team, my man Marty, he's got the book available on Spotify and Audible, so go give him some support. And then you got the guys over at 52 Sundays, 52sundays.co. Promo code over there is LGC15. New York Legends guys, DM me, or anybody who's interested in becoming a Legends member of the New York Club, DM me as well, and we can get that set up as well. We're just about to 25 members, so we got that thing growing and going to have big plans for that as well in the in the spring. But appreciate everybody tuning in, and we will talk to you on Monday with the recap show. Later, and go Canes.